Welcome everyone to BlackBox QA. This is where we make testing concepts not just easy but exciting. So, whether you are a fresher or an experienced tester, our goal is to help you understand automation deeply. So, basically, in this entire series, we are using Python as an scripting language along with testing tools such as Selenium and APM. And also, while going through the framework concepts or the architecture, we will be including Cucumber for implementing the BDD, or you can say behavior driven development. Now, coming back to our agenda for this video. So, what is software testing? So, in very simple term, I can say software testing is not just finding bugs, it also ensures quality and user satisfaction. So, in this intro video, we'll start from the very basics like what testing is, why it's important, and how automation can make a difference. So, with that said, let's begin your journey to become an expert tester. So, what is software testing? Okay. So, software testing is at the heart of software quality. It's not just about clicking buttons or running any scripts, right? It's about making sure that software behaves as intended. Now, whether it's a small mobile application or a global e commerce system, testing verifies reliability, usability, and performance. Now, it's always said that early testing prevents costly errors later. Sooner you find a bug or a defect in software testing, cheaper it is to fix it. And also, you will hear terms like manual and automation testing. So, both have their places. So, manual testing allows flexibility, while automation helps speed and consistency. So, in short, if I say testing is your software's health check and testers are its doctors. Okay. So, also, if I tell you another example, if for those people who are not that much familiar with all these fancy terms, software testing, manual testing, or automation testing, so just imagine that you are checking if your TV remote is working properly or not. So for that, you press each button one by one, power, volume, channel. Okay. So if the volume button doesn't work, so that means you have just done a manual testing. No automation, no tools, just you and the product, right? And if I tell you about automation testing, so with that there are certain tools which I've mentioned earlier like Selenium, APM, Protractor, WDIO framework, all of those. So those are there to make it uh, an automated process that can save time, and it's also very consistent. So yeah, that's the thing. Now, why software testing is important, right? So, as we all know, software testing is a mandatory step in the software lifecycle. The completion of this step provides confidence and guarantees that the product is of a standard to be pushed to production for customers. So, definitely, if you are doing a testing, there will be a product or the application which you are doing the testing for, and most of the cases it is that product is being built for the customers. So before pushing that product to in production for the customers, testers make sure that all the related requirement are working as expected. Okay. Now, why cannot be ignored, like why testing cannot be ignored, is let's consider few scenarios which happened because software testing was not done properly. So, everyone might be aware of the famous Windows 98 crash during its launching ceremony. So, let me show you this video. Okay.
Daisy chain of up to 127 USB devices here. That's an everyday task. Let's plug it in. It's going to say, hey, I see you've plugged in a new device. and it's going to load in the appropriate drivers. You'll notice that this scanner build, whoa, moving right along. That must be why we're not shipping Windows 98. Absolutely, absolutely. We still got a little work to do here.
So, so you might have seen how embarrassing it was for the company owner Bill Gates and its assistant. So that means uh, what happened was uh, during the launch of that Windows 98 at the Comdex trade show in the year 1998. So Windows 98 got crashed during its official launch presented by Bill Gates himself. Cause of the crash was a USB scanner was connected to the computer, causing the operating system to fail. Now this was an edge case that was being missed while testing this particular software. As a result, during its launch itself, presented by Bill Gates himself, the product got crashed and it was very, very embarrassing for the entire Microsoft. So it was happened in 1998 and we are still learning from those mistakes. Also, there are other scenarios as well. Like we all know that Boeing company, the company who manufactures all these airplanes, right? And the product they manufacture. So the Boeing 737 Max crashed in 2018 and 19 were caused by flawed flight control software called the MCAS, or in other words, Maneuvering Characteristic Augmented System. Now, because of this fault, the aircraft nose was reportedly pushed down due to the faulty data from a single angle of attack AOA sensor. Now, because of this, the entire fleet of Boeing 737 MAX was grounded, causing huge loss of reputation to the company, along with heavy financial losses. But those are still fine. At least a lot of lives have been saved because of this action. Okay, now there is another instance, right? Along with this, which is very famous, or you can say very infamous, which is about the Apollo crash, which was held in the year 1986. So there, basically, what happened was the space shuttle Challenger disaster. The Challenger broke apart just 73 seconds after its liftoff, killing all seven crew members. So this was also happened due to insufficient testing of the product. And when later found out, it was the design failure. If this bug was found in the initial design phase, lots and lots of things and lives could have been saved. So that's why it is said that the sooner you find a bug, the cheaper it is, and the best it is to be fixed at that point in time, right? So basically, software testing is one of the most crucial job on this planet, and also by now you all might have done the software testing in your respective projects and are here to learn about the automation testing. Okay, so in this entire series you all will get to learn everything about APM, Selenium, using Python as an scripting language, and by the end of this whole series you all will be able to create frameworks as well using the above tech stack. Okay, so but before that, let's discuss why and how automation testing was invented, right? So you all must have heard about term called as regression testing, right? So what basically it is, for those who are not familiar with it, so it's basically consists of test cases from the previous releases along with the new set of test cases of the latest feature, and regression suit is executed just to ensure that existing functionality is not broken after the addition of this new feature. So it sounds very technical, but let me clarify this with an example. So everyone is using WhatsApp. Okay. So initially there wasn't any audio or video call feature in WhatsApp. If people who are using it from the very beginning, they might know that initially there wasn't any kind of audio or video call feature. Okay. And simply user can just do text messages. So later on, when the audio or video call feature was added, still that chat feature was working fine, right? It wasn't broken. So this is the whole idea behind the regression test. Means if any new feature is added, the existing feature and new feature both should work properly, right? So those of you who have executed manually the regression suite ever, so you might be knowing the pain behind it, how much time consuming it is. And because as the application grows or add new features in every release, your number of test cases in the regression suite will keep on growing, and hence the manual effort also keeps on growing. So to reduce this time and effort, okay, the concept of automation testing was introduced. Okay, so automation testing can be advantageous as it is low cost, like less number of resources needed as compared to manual testing. It's time efficient. So basically the scripts which are created once can run multiple times over and over with a click of a button. Now, while manual testing could take days for a given task, automation can be done it in hours. Okay, it's also reliable. So manual testing is prone to human errors, but automation test scripts, once designed carefully, does that work very precisely and without any assumptions, and provides reports of every single steps. Okay. Now, this was all about the regression and automation. And now next thing comes up is the software testing life cycle. Okay, so this is, you can say, the very fundamental concept in the software testing. So before starting, let me ask you a few questions, and by answering these questions in simple way, we'll get you know the testing life cycle. So first one is, how do you know what to test, right? You are a software tester and you have been asked to test. Now how will you know like what exactly to test? So answer for this is requirement analysis. First you will analyze the requirements, like understanding testing objectives and identify testable features from the business requirement. Okay, now second question is, how do you make sure you don't miss on anything while testing? So answer for this will be, that is test planning and creating the test cases. So test planning is basically defining the scope, approach, resources, schedule, and risk mitigation strategies for testing. And test case creation or test case development is basically design and document detailed test cases and scripts to validate each functionality. Okay. Now the third one is, what do you do when you find an error? Okay, means you are testing, you have created a test case, you have started the testing process, also you have the requirements, but what if the product you are testing is not behaving as per the business requirement, right, which you did in the very first step, requirement analysis? So the answer is, that is bug reporting. Okay, so you run your test, you record the outcomes, and generate reports to track defects or bugs and the progress. And the closure activity, review the test results, assess quality goals, and document lessons, which are document all those lessons learned for continuous improvement. Okay, so this is all about the software testing lifecycle. Now we've just talked about a bug, right? So so there is another term called as bug life cycle or a defect life cycle. Okay, so let's say you are testing an application and you found discrepancy between the actual and the expected behavior. That's basically a bug. Now what will you do? you'll raise that bug. Okay, so you'll raise that bug, and for that there are certain tools which are being used in the software industry. One of them is Jira. Initially that there was this HP quality center, okay, which now are not being used very much. So Jira is being popularly being used nowadays. So you have raised a bug, okay, and with all the title, with all the steps to replicate everything you have given, all the details in that bug, so that bug will be assigned with a state as new. Okay. Now, someone from the business team, they will validate that bug with all the steps mentioned, with all the evidences mentioned, and they will triage that bug. Okay. Like what could be its priority? Because severity is something, like how severe the bug is. Priority is something, if it needs to be fixed at earliest, or it can be done in some later releases. So that's been decided by the business product or the business team. Okay, so once the triage has been done, so it is assigned to the respective developer for investigation and resolution. Now the state of the bug will be changed from new to in progress. Okay, and the assigned developer, they'll do some code fixes, and once they feel like that has been fixed, they'll move that code, and again that bug will be assigned to the respective tester who has raised it at that point in time. Now once fixed, so tester will verify the correction to ensure the issue no longer exists. And let's say if it is working fine now this time, so the bug is marked as closed. If it's still happening, then it's reopened for further work. Now importance of this is, this whole thing is like tracking defect states ensures accountability, progress visibility, and process efficiency. So till now we have discussed almost everything about the basics of software testing. We have touched on the concepts of manual testing. We have seen how automation testing can be beneficial when it comes to regression testing. So the idea for this video was to just have a brief understanding about the foundations of software testing before proceeding to further technical videos, which includes the automation testing with all the tech stack which we have just discussed in this video. So next steps would be, we will be seeing how the transition from manual to automation testing is achieved, and how it is being used for the speed, scalability, and precision. And in the upcoming videos, I will guide you through the Python scripting and using the tools Selenium WebDriver, APM for mobile, and Cucumber BDD framework. Okay, so stay tuned, and if you have liked this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much.